either win or learn. Nelson Mandela. This quote is not just a guiding principle for his life, filled with struggles and success, but also a profound reminder for all of us about the meaning of resilience and the ability to learn from failure. Nelson Mandela, a symbol of the struggle for freedom and human rights, not only left a deep mark on history, but also inspired through his life philosophies and timeless quotes. From a political prisoner, Mandela became the first democratically elected president of South Africa and led the country through its divisions towards peace and unity. His life is a story of perseverance, the spirit of forgiveness, and a desire to change the world. Today, let's explore the profound and lasting lessons from Nelson Mandela through his inspiring quotes. These lessons not only help us better understand the value of freedom, forgiveness, and steadfastness, but also ignite inspiration for each of us to live more powerfully and meaningfully every day. To begin our journey, let's explore a core lesson, the lesson that failure does not diminish our will, but instead becomes the foundation for resilience. Nelson Mandela once said, "I never lose, I either win or learn." This quote is not just a symbol of resilience, but also contains a profound philosophy on how to face failure. For Mandela, failure is not the end, but a necessary part of the journey, where we can learn, grow, and become stronger. In life, failure is often seen as something to fear, a sign of weakness. However, Mandela gave us an entirely different perspective. He believed that every failure carries a valuable lesson. For him, the 27 years of imprisonment did not break him, but instead became a time to build his will, nurture his intellect, and prepare for the day of freedom. Rather than allowing negative circumstances to overpower him, Mandela turned them into motivation for growth and change. Mandela taught that failure does not diminish your worth. It is an opportunity to reflect, adjust, and move forward. What matters is not how many times you fall, but how many times you get back up and what you learn from those moments. Facing failure with patience and a positive attitude will help you not only overcome it, but also grow exponentially. In everyday life, perseverance not only helps you achieve big goals, but also trains you to face adversity. Difficulties and challenges are inevitable in life, but perseverance helps you push through and keep moving forward. Remember, success does not come overnight. It is the result of consistent effort over time. Ask yourself, do I have enough perseverance to achieve the goals I want? If the answer is yes, then nothing can stop you from reaching the peak of success. Mandela proved that every mistake has value if you know how to leverage it. So, don't fear failure, fear not trying. One of Nelson Mandela's most famous quotes is, "Forgiveness liberates the soul. It removes fear." That is why it is such a powerful weapon. After 27 years of imprisonment under an apartheid regime, Mandela had every reason to feel hatred. But upon his release, he did not choose the path of revenge. Instead, he chose forgiveness, reconciliation, and unity to build a new South Africa. Mandela understood that hatred not only harms others, but also imprisons oneself. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting the pain of the past, but learning how to face and rise above it. Through forgiveness, Mandela liberated his soul from negative emotions and opened up the opportunity to build a new future. He believed that only forgiveness could heal deep wounds and move society forward. This lesson teaches us that forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, but a demonstration of mental strength. It requires the courage to let go, compassion to understand others, and an open heart to embrace harmony. Forgiveness does not change the past, but it will surely change the future. In daily life, We can apply this lesson by learning to forgive ourselves, forgive those who have hurt us, and forgive our own mistakes. Forgiveness not only frees us from the burden of resentment, but also helps us become better versions of ourselves. Ask yourself, is there anyone in my life whom I need to forgive? And what do I need to let go of to free myself? Mandela proved that forgiveness is not just a personal act, it is also the foundation for changing the world. So, start today. Forgive to liberate, to love, and to build a more meaningful life. Forgiveness teaches us to free ourselves from the past, and persistence helps us move forward on the journey of the future. Let's explore the next lesson. The important thing in life is not how many times we fall, but how we rise. This has become a guiding principle for millions of people around the world. It is not just a life philosophy, but also a shining example from Mandela's own life. After enduring 27 years of imprisonment and facing countless challenges, Mandela never gave up on his belief in justice and the future. He did not allow adversity to weaken his resolve, but instead transformed it into motivation to move forward. Persistence is not just about endurance. It is the ability to maintain relentless effort, regardless of the difficulties ahead. Mandela taught that persistence is the key factor in changing one's destiny. His steadfastness contributed to the monumental change in South Africa, from a country torn apart by racial segregation to one striving for peace and unity. In daily life, persistence helps us not to be defeated by temporary failures. Instead of feeling discouraged when facing difficulties, look to Mandela to understand that each challenge is an opportunity to strengthen oneself and move further. Remember that success does not come from luck, but from persistence in the face of adversity. Ask yourself, when facing challenges, do I have enough persistence to overcome them? Am I willing to rise each time I fall? Mandela demonstrated that no matter how tough the journey, with persistence, we can achieve greatness. Therefore, let this lesson be a source of motivation for you to keep moving forward, no matter how rugged the path ahead. Once persistence has helped us stand firm, learning becomes the key that opens the door to growth and change. Next, we delve into this lesson. Nelson Mandela once stated, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." For him, learning was not only a personal responsibility, but also the foundation for building sustainable development for society. Mandela understood that knowledge is the torch that illuminates the path out of poverty, injustice, and oppression. During his 27 years of imprisonment, Mandela did not let time pass idly. He made the most of every moment to read books, learn, and develop his leadership skills. Even in the harshest conditions, he persistently accumulated knowledge, continuously improving himself. This is a powerful lesson about the importance of never-ending learning, regardless of difficult circumstances. Learning is not just about book knowledge, but also about the ability to listen and understand others. Mandela applied this in his negotiations, peace-building efforts, and in promoting unity in South Africa. He taught that only when we truly listen and absorb can we bring about positive change. In modern life, learning is not just an obligation, but a key that opens up new opportunities. Ask yourself, what have I learned from the challenges I've faced? Am I ready to learn from the small things around me? Mandela taught that learning does not stop in youth or formal education, but is a lifelong journey. Let this lesson encourage you to continue investing in yourself, to never stop exploring and expanding your knowledge, because only when you continuously learn can you grow, adapt, and create value for yourself and society. Learning leads to development, but freedom, along with responsibility, is the noble goal of the journey. let's explore the final meaningful lesson. Nelson Mandela once said, "Freedom means nothing if it does not include the right to make mistakes." For him, freedom was not just a personal right, but also came with a huge responsibility towards oneself, the community, and the world around. Freedom is not about doing whatever you want, but about the ability to use that freedom to promote positive values and build a better society. Mandela understood the deep meaning of freedom because he had to struggle for it almost his entire life. After 27 years of imprisonment, he did not only dream of personal liberation, but also longed for a South Africa freed from injustice and racial discrimination. But Mandela did not stop at gaining freedom. He emphasized that each person should use their freedom wisely and responsibly to bring about lasting and meaningful change. The lesson from Mandela teaches that freedom is not about indulgence or recklessness, but about living according to one's values, using freedom to build, not destroy, to love, not hate. For Mandela, responsibility paired with freedom is the path to peace and sustainable development. Ask yourself, how am I using my freedom? Am I living according to the values I believe in? Freedom is a precious gift, but it only truly matters when it is used to create value for oneself and for the community. Mandela proved that freedom is not just a goal, but also a means to bring hope and change. Therefore, cherish your freedom while being fully aware of the responsibility that comes with it. This is how we honor Mandela's spirit and leave a meaningful impact on the world. Nelson Mandela are not just lofty philosophies, but beacons that guide us in our lives. From the power of forgiveness, the value of perseverance, to the responsibility that comes with freedom. Mandela has left behind a great legacy, not only for South Africa, but for the entire world. He proved that even in the harshest adversities, people can still choose to do what is right, live with value, and make a difference. Take a look at your own life. Are you using the power of forgiveness to free your soul? Are you persevering through challenges? And most importantly, are you using your freedom to create a more meaningful life? Mandela reminds us that great changes begin with the smallest actions, and each person has the power to change the world, starting with themselves. The greatest lesson Mandela left behind might be, you don't need a great position to make a change. It all begins with your will, belief, and actions. Let Mandela's spirit inspire you to keep moving forward, no matter how difficult the journey ahead may be. Life is not just about living, but living meaningfully. Thank you for joining us on the journey of discovering the lessons from Nelson Mandela. If there is any historical figure or famous person you would like to learn about, leave a comment below. We will be happy to bring you the next inspiring content. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to spread these wonderful values to more people. As a tribute to our eagerness for understanding, I invite you to lift the veil of time with me and discover the greatness of Nelson Mandela. Does his legacy still hold its full value in today's society? Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, 1918 to 2013, was one of the most prominent figures in the struggle against the apartheid system in South Africa. He also stands as a historic leader in reconciliation and peace-building worldwide. Born on July 18, 1918, in the village of Mvezo, in South Africa's Eastern Cape Province, Mandela came from a royal Thembu family. In his childhood, he was exposed early on to the importance of community spirit and compassion, values intrinsic to Thembu tradition. Beginning with education and community involvement, Nelson Mandela studied at the University of Fort Hare, a prestigious institution for black South Africans at that time, but was suspended due to his involvement in protest movements against the university's student council arrangement. Later, he moved to Johannesburg, working as a mine security guard and a law clerk before continuing his legal studies through correspondence courses. These experiences revealed to him the profound injustices of apartheid, in which black citizens were denied many basic rights. Joining the ANC and the path to activism. In 1944, Mandela joined the African National Congress, ANC, a political organization fighting for the rights of black South Africans. As he witnessed increasingly severe policies such as the pass laws, which required black people to carry documents whenever traveling, Mandela became more resolute in demanding change. At first, he supported nonviolent protest, but after the Sharpeville massacre of 1960, Mandela and several other ANC leaders founded the armed wing Umkhonto we Sizwe, Spear of the Nation, to respond to government violence. This led to his arrest and a life sentence at the Rivonia trial in 1964. 27 years in prison and the power of will. Mandela spent the majority of his imprisonment on Robben Island, where living conditions were extremely harsh. Forced into hard labor and strict supervision, he nevertheless remained steadfast in his sense of justice. During his 27 years in prison, Mandela devoted his time to self-education, strengthening his resolve and discussing democratic and equality ideals with his fellow prisoners. His unwavering attitude prompted the South African government to offer him conditional release multiple times, provided he renounced political struggle, but he consistently refused. That resilient spirit became a symbol of determined resistance against injustice. Freedom and the process of national reconciliation. Nelson Mandela was released on February 11, 1990, against a backdrop of President F.W. de Klerk's gradual dismantling of apartheid due to both internal and international pressure. Mandela's departure from the prison gates not only opened a new chapter in his own life, but also signified a historic moment for the nation of South Africa. Continuing as leader of the ANC, he negotiated with de Klerk to abolish the legal framework of racial segregation, paving the way for the first multiracial democratic elections in 1994. The result: Mandela was elected President of South Africa, becoming the nation's first black head of state. During his presidency, 1994 to 1999, he focused on reconciling black and white communities through the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, rather than encouraging retaliation. Mandela emphasized understanding and acknowledging past mistakes as the foundation for a peaceful and fair South African society. Lasting legacy and global impact. Following his presidency, Nelson Mandela continued his social and humanitarian work, particularly in the fight against HIV/AIDS. He passed away on December 5, 2013, leaving the world in mourning. Mandela was seen as the individual who bridged resistance and the pursuit of peace. His philosophy and methods inspired countless human rights activists worldwide. Even today, Nelson Mandela's legacy retains all its significance. From his call to end all forms of discrimination, to his encouragement of dialogue and reconciliation, to policies aimed at social justice, his journey stands as a shining example for millions who seek justice. The name Madiba, a beloved nickname for Mandela, carries a message. However dark the past may be, the future can still be illuminated by courage, compassion, and a tireless effort to achieve what is right.